Hello, Angel the Star Clan storyteller here to give a warning before you proceed to listen. Please read these or listen so you're not triggered by the following. This content will contain murder, animal/character death, descriptions of graphic imagery, flashing lights, depiction of a panic attack, mentions of vomit, loud noises, and many more. Please do not proceed if you are of light-hearted. Thank you. It was moons ago and everyone moved on from Blackfoot's death in the Thunderpath incident. Luna Bright died along with Bronzestar a few minutes after Applesnap became a warrior. She didn't have training from Loud Whisper. Luna Bright didn't have much of a job to do. He didn't seem to want to after Applesnap's legs were gone. The suffix snap was a reminder of how the monster just snapped them with no effort, ruining her life. Even though she was named Snap, because how easily she could snap at others. Many moons after she was a warrior, she was hunting on the territory per usual when she came across a rogue. Aggressive at first, both, but the rogue was intrigued after suddenly seeing her, recognizing her almost, like he saw her before, back when. Applesnap sat near the bush like always. A meeting was called. The usual ceremonies, new apprentices, warriors, so on. Some reports here and there, even some cats were going missing. Applesnap didn't seem concerned with the meeting. This was the usual. The deputy, Panther Prowl, called out, "May all cats old enough to run in the moors gather for patrols." She growled and dragged herself over. It was late. Why would patrols start now? She was just about to head for rest anyway. Suddenly, rain started to pour. Then came the bashing thunder. Her pelt felt ruined, so did her mood. She sat and hissed, her ears turning back, trying to muffle the sounds of the booming thunder. Sheep cries stepped forward, dragging Tangle whispers too, squeezing Applesnap between him and Ferngaze. Applesnap let out a loud hiss, wanting to make it clear she didn't like it. She scooted away. Panther Prowl seemed to be setting up the last patrols before saying, "The rest may do patrols," he dismissed. Applesnap scoffed. "Oh yeah, 'cause cats with broken, non-working legs can't border a hunt, huh?" She huffed. "Oh yeah, totally great. Wait for me to do work." She dragged off before the cat could reply, annoyed, angry, grumpy, and very tired. She looked around the territory for any herbs. It would be day soon. What a great time to have patrols set. She was hissing all the way at the booming sound of thunder up ahead. Someone stalked behind her before suddenly confronting her. "Ow!" she called. Applesnap turned, irritated, as she should be. "What are you doing out here alone?" the cream she asked in a concernish tone. Patrol because my legs hold me back from doing warrior work." Her tail flicked aggressively using a mocking tone. He tried stepping away. "Now, if you excuse me, I'm on Earth Patrol as well," Slightwing announced. Applesnap paused, turning her head to look. "Great!" she said in a sarcastic, enthusiasm. She dragged off without another word, suddenly just running away. The sun started to rise slowly near the trees that bordered River Clan territory. She paused to watch. Her eyes focused. She was mesmerized, calm for once. Light was blinding but beautiful. She stayed there and watched, not focused on the thunder, the rain, just put at ease. She sat, thinking about Loud Whisper and Blackfoot, kind of wishing they saw this, experienced it. She hissed, jumping back. She started to pant. The memories flooded back. As the last thunder roared, the rain stopped. She dropped to her stomach. Remembering the thunder path, she coughed, starting to breathe heavily. Every moment, Loud Whisper sat in silence, the blood from her throat. The Shadow Clan warrior, the blood on her paused from his body. Things seemed to warp. She dug her claws in the dirt, heart pacing, trying to slow down, but the stress, the memories, the tightness in her lungs, her chest, her stomach didn't stop. She remembered the loud noises before the shape came into view, pain in her body all at once from her legs to the fuzzy memories to Blackfoot laying there on the moss, cold, not moving. Tears rolled down her face. She wanted to forget, but it flashed over and over, not leaving. She felt trapped, hopeless. Would this never end? She laid her head, putting her paws over her ears. She wanted no more. She felt the air thicken. She felt lost. She felt herself breathe more slowly, starting to forget. The sounds of the birds chirping and the rustling of animals in the grass calmed her. Are you okay? Petal Claw stepped forward, turning to face Applesnap, who was lying on the ground. With a sigh, she then looked up, her ears pinned back. I'm fine. Why do you care? She hissed, dragging off. When she entered camp, she went under a bush. Another meeting about new apprentices. Sadly, she left early. This was boring. She had better things to do anyway. She dragged herself to the entrance of camp, walking around the territory looking for something to hunt. She went back, then saw a loner near camp. She quickly ran over, alarmed. Hey! She shouted, getting closer. Yes? The loner mewed. You're on Wind Clan's territory, she pointed out. Especially near our camp, she hissed, her tail lashing on point. Just wandering around, he protested calmly. No harm done. I can go if you'd like, she asked. Yeah, leave, Applesnap insisted. Or I make you, he vowed threateningly at them. She sighed of relief, then went to go catch something. Patrols were yet again called by Birchstar. A bit strange it wasn't a deputy. She stepped over anyway. As last patrols were called, all other cats may stay behind to help around the clan. Applesnap let out a loud huff. She wanted to argue that it was 'cause of her leg stick, but she was late to patrols. She left a hunt bored. Not that she was part of a hunting patrol, she just needed to relieve her boredom. She stopped hunting, pausing at the sight of two apprentices and another young cat that smelled like 2 legs. Her ears perked, alerted. Her pupils went from round to almost thin slits. She stepped over. "Is that a kitty pet?" she screeched loudly. Both the apprentices turned suddenly, the blue and cream kitty pet terrified. "Nah, I'm good." Applepaw stopped herself immediately, gulping. "Hi, Applesnap." Icepaw immediately stepped in front of the kitty pet. "No!" Applesnap stared in disgust. Icepaw tried to awkwardly chuckle. "What in Star Clan's name are you two doing?" Uh, not kicking out an intruder?" she questioned, absolutely fuming. Icepaw immediately crouched down below Applesnap. "It's not a kitty pet," Autumpaw protested. "And she also poses no threat. Leave us alone!" Autumpaw hissed back in defiance. Yeah! Icepaw shouted. "That's right!" she also hissed. "Be thankful we have a code in place, or I will tear both of your tongues out as punishment." She flicked her tail. That came out more harsh than intended, but her point still stood. "Kick it out, or I will bring it back to camp with both of you behind me. I will make sure you get the trouble you deserve." She sat with a growl. The kitty pet stepped back before Autumpaw whispered something, before saying, "Okay, fine, I'll do it. Kitty pet, come on." Autumpaw flicked her tail and ran off with the kitty pet. Applesnap sighed in relief. "You've come to your senses," she almost said faintly, looking away at the barn, then gave a nasty glare to Icepaw, saying her name with a steel in her tone. Icepaw stood up, looking at the ground. "If I see this behavior from you or Autumpaw again, I will make sure you are in a pickle." She gritted her teeth clearly before it stood, letting out a heavy sigh. Dear Scar Clan, kids these days, breaking the precious code of all things. She turned, seeing Leopard gaze up ahead, staring at the situation. "Icepaw, Birchstar would like to say a word with you," he meowed, with a side glance at the brown and white she-cat. "I got it handled. Don't worry about it," she said faintly as she passed Leopard gaze before slowly speeding up. The next day, she was hunting. She forgot to see him! Like usual, hopefully he wasn't upset. She tried scenting nearby prey to give him. He stared at the barn as she stopped, wondering if he was there like you. Probably should have brought something. She made her way to the barn slowly, excited. She slid under the white wooden fence, wincing in pain when her back legs gently hit the wood. There he was, in the distance, leaning his long black fur. Her tail swayed, her heart raced, her face flushed, and almost came out a red color. She gave him a large smile, dragging over. The large rogue heard the rustling, seeing his beloved Applesnap. He gave a deep purr, standing up slowly and stalking towards her. His coat was more visible now, a shining white from the light of the glowing sun, and one mysterious deep orange eye that fit the color of citrus oranges, and that scar across his other eye, blinding him. Applesnap felt so sure that he was perfect. Orca lynx. She stopped a few rabbit lengths away, mewing his name sweetly, a tone unlike her. Orca, my dear, she purred, stepping over and pushing her head into his chest fur before turning to sit beside him. He closed his eyes for a bit before they were opened again. How are you, my darling? He asked with that sweetness dripping in his tone. StarClan, she gasped loudly. I've been wanting to see you. But the clan, she gulped, has been giving me so many things to do. She sighed, looking away sadly. We had a panic attack a few nights ago about the injury. She looked at her legs, mangled from the monster many moons ago. I'm sorry to hear about that. He tried to reassure before pausing. If you want. He trailed off her a bit. I could, you know, teach your clan a lesson. He purred. He sounded like he was joking. Applesnap let out a giggle. She brushed it off with a nod. It's fine, and I'd love you to teach my clan a lesson, she teased with a chuckle, pawing his shoulder. It's not the same as before. I wish it was, she groaned. How are you, my dear? She asked, ready to comfort him of any troubles. He wrapped his tail around her, flicking it gently. He drifted his eyes to the sky, watching distantly. It's been alright. Just a bit boring you're not always here. He didn't look back. In fact, making sure Applesnap didn't notice his face. He looked down, sad. I wish I could be here forever. She gulped. But StarClan knows my place in one clan. I can't leave. She knew where her loyalties lie. She hoped he would understand. StarClan always knows what's best, doesn't it? He questioned, staring down at her. It does, she nodded. You know, it's cute you believe in that, he purred. He then looked at the dark sky, a frown on his face. Applesnap's attention also turned to the sky. It was nice to see you, my love, she purred one last time, getting up and leaving, sliding under the wooden fence like always. Once she entered camp, she felt like all eyes were on her, the scent of rogue fresh on her pelt. She sat, acting interested, though bored. She desperately wanted Orca links. She shifted around, hoping no cat noticed the off smell that came off of her. She forgot to cover it up with some lavender. She left the meeting early. She wanted some well-deserved rest. She woke up once the rain hit her pelt. She hissed, leaving for a spare to get better shelter. She didn't even sleep. Too soaked, too. She looked out at the rain, starting to feel a bit off, nauseous, in fact. She started to feel dizzy. She left the den for the mezzanine. She wanted to know what was wrong. She gulped, holding back throwing up. The rain hitting her didn't make anything better. She stopped at the entrance, which was blocked by two cats already. Just great. Though she didn't feel mad at them. Just focused on figuring out why she felt sick suddenly. Her head pounding as the rain hit her. The two were talking. They seemed to have been in some sort of conflict, covered in wounds. All not so severe, of course. We experienced a fight against the rogues. They're off the territory now, Cliff Clover had explained to Z in a shadow, which caught Applesnap's attention, ears perked. She dragged over to ask, "Is one named Orca Lynx?" The tom beside it, Swift Clover, eyed her for a minute before replying, "Nah," and walking off to the medicine den. She just nodded before following along, waiting at the entrance, peeking in. "May I come in?" she mewed. "I'll wait, don't worry." She shifted her front paws around a bit. Sienna's shadow shouted a "yes," following Applesnap in. She mewed a thanks, stepping in, going to sit on a moss bed, feeling more nauseous. She had to gulp in order to hold back throwing up. A few minutes later, after sitting, Jared patrols outside. She had to leave. Duties were calling. She would come back later, maybe. Zinnia's shadow noticed quickly and came over, beckoning Applesnap back in, aggressively ordering, "No, stay." She nodded, gulping again to hold back that feeling in her throat. She curled up, feeling like she would explode out anything she ate last. "No wounds." Sienna's shadow tilted her head. "No wounds." She noticed how nauseous Applesnap seemed, realizing. "Morning sickness?" she guessed. "I would guess too," she nodded. "Why so sudden, though?" she wondered. "The only thing I have a problem with is sunburns and skin irritation from my leg injury." She sighed, groaning. Zinnia's shadow paused. "It could be." She had hesitated for a moment. "Potential kits. But I'm not too sure." She awkwardly looked away. "Kits!" she shouted with a gasp, distraught. There was no way. "A possibility," Xena's shadow reminded her. "I've been seeing a tom," she murmured. "I'll grab you some juniper berries, just in case. No poppy." She went back to her herbs. The orange and black she came back with some juniper, handing it to Applesnap. "Here, eat. This should help it out." She tried to push a bit. Applesnap took the juniper, eating slowly. Applesnap tensed after eating the berries, wondering what trouble she could be in if the clan ever found out. "You can stay here for at least a day," she insisted. Sienna's shadow muttered something before leaving the den. She sighed, hoping Orca will stop by, maybe sneak in to check on her. He knew how to get there, right? She started thinking. She needed to cover up for her kid's father. She rested her head after thinking for a while, wishing to not stay awake anymore. She needed a nap. Hey, so I was going to draw for this one, but the Sienna Shadows morph was a bit too complex for me to draw, and I was getting lazy. So you can just listen with this background right here. Is that good, chat? Yeah, that's good. That's good, chat. We're doing good. Sienna's shadow was stalking along the moors. Her tail brushed against the grass. She plucked some marigold from a patch, then put it in a little leaf-like carrier that she then put in her maw. She kept going, needing to find more herbs. She then realized something. Applesnap never had a mate, at least around camp to her knowledge. It was weird, and Applesnap acted weird. Why was she expecting kids so suddenly without a mate too? Did she get a surrogate? No Tom would ever want her as a mother. Those cats knew she was hopeless when it came to any love. Who was she? Xena's shadow paused. I noticed that often. Applesnap smelled like rogue, and faintly like Shadow Clan. It was a bit weird. The scent was very faint, like something trying to be covered up. That came from long ago, like a cat from Shadow Clan that had been exiled. She suddenly came to a conclusion. Applesnap was mates with... The large Tom stood up, blood on his maw. After her nap, she snuck out, not caring if Xenia would yell at her. She needed to see him. She snuck by the two warriors from earlier, climbing up to a hole in the den, making her way to the barn shortly after. She purred, sliding under the fence, her tail flicking when she saw him. The black and white Tom flicked his tail impatiently before looking at Applesnap. "Finally!" He almost groaned in annoyance. "Sorry, I was busy at the medicine and morning sickness." She coughed with a stutter, moving over to sit with him absently. "It's fine," he trailed off. "I guess," he muttered under his breath, annoyed. He flicked his tail yet again. She panicked, scared he was suspecting her of what she heard from Xena's shadow. She blurted out immediately, "It's probably from, heat or something." She tried to play it off, hoping he wouldn't question. He glanced at her from aside, a bit curious. She immediately moved to sit next to him. "How are you?" she purred, stepping closer to curl around him on the other side, hoping to change the topic up. "I don't think you could get sick from the heat," he muttered, before looking down at her and smiling that soft, warm smile. "I'm fine," he reassured. She nodded with a large smile, the only one he ever got to see. She was the cat atop the fence inside. Just a loner. Not anyone she could get in trouble with. Orcaling started scratching at his eye, as it felt irritated again. "God, I hate this eye," he hissed under his breath as he itched it. She paused, worried. "That eye always seems to bother you," she pointed out. "Are you sure it's fine?" she asked. "You could eat herbs," she suggested, trying to help. She started to notice a lot of the rogues and loners seemed to be out of the barn. She felt very tense, but at least she was a bit safe felt around her love orca lynx. "I'm alright, Applesnap. No herbs needed," he purred in an attempt to reassure her. She nodded with a soft purr. "Are you sure you're alright?" he tried to ask. "That can't be from the heat, I'm sure." Her eyes shot open. She stared up and cut him off. "What do you think about Kitch?" she wondered. She then immediately blurted out, "Not like there's anything out of it." She tried to reassure, not wanting to startle him or make him assume things. His face changed when he said that, and gave her a confused look. "Kids?" He tilted his head. "Yeah. What's your opinion on them?" She tried to make the pieces not add up, trying to insist it was a simple question. She then stood, feeling heavily off. "Well," he moved over to lay with her. "I'm alright with them." He shrugged. "They just tend to be," he paused, "annoying. Sometimes." He'd look away, his distant, cold, thinking about something. She nodded, looking away sadly. She then looked back and started to look at his neck fur, trying to clean him. She tilted her head a bit. "I know Xenagato's gonna be mad at me." She gulped. "I was supposed to stay in her den, but I snuck out to see you," she explained. "I needed to." She exhaled. She noticed it was getting dark, then sighed. "I'll see you later." "Can't you just stay here and go back in the morning?" he questioned. She paused. "My clan will get suspicious." She tried to excuse. Nervous, she stopped cleaning, staring away. He'd pout. A bit annoyed, a visible frown on his face. She looked at him, her ears turning back. She didn't want him upset. Maybe just one night? She smiled, her head tilted to the side. He'd smile at her words, nodding. I'm all right with that, even if it's just one night, he purred. She grinned back lightly, stepping up. Why don't we go then? She wondered, flicking her tail. Hmm? He was very confused. Although normally he knew what she meant, this time he didn't. They stared at the sky before going to the barn. This is where you sleep, right? She asked. He quickly followed. Ah, wait! She gave a giggle. He nodded. Yes, he chuckled. It is. He trotted in. With her a bit behind, he led her up to a crate, laying down. She sat beside him, yawning widely. Ah. She then curled up in a comfortable ball, tucking her head into herself. He smiled too, then yawned as well, keeping his ears perked up, curling around her securely as well. She slowly fell into a deep sleep, purring ever so softly against him, as he soon followed suit, his tail wrapping around her instinctively. As the night progressed, so did her dreams. It felt off. The usual nightmares of her mentor, the Thunderpath, Blackfoot. Then there was a sudden weird thing, like she entered another world. She felt unnerved, looking around, moving a bit. This wasn't part of them usually. She then saw an apple just sitting idly in front of her. It suddenly snapped, revealing two seeds. She turned back, but was suddenly in clan camp. Her clanmates, they were all dead. A single piece of black and white fur stood in the clearing, clear as day, though it was dark. She couldn't even tell if it was night, though. She blinked once, and there was a giant cat, one a familiar figure. She then saw a light from a further distance out of her sight slowly rise, as she caught a glimpse before. Beware the hunt of an orca. It's right beside you all the time. Her head snapping up as she woke up. Her eyes had shot open. She looked around the barn, scared, confused. Just a dream. Like always, she insisted to herself, not wanting to believe it had any sort of relevance. Though she smelled something off. Something up in the high ground of the barn. She got up slowly, making sure not to disturb her mate as she made her way down. Then she used her front paws to climb the large two-leg wooden steps. Around for the smell. It smelled like blood. It smelled weird. She noticed the hay, sensing it was coming from there. She started to dig at the yellow nettles, before suddenly hitting her paw on something. Fur? She dug more, then stopped, fearful at the sight. She only saw the body, no head. It looked like Xena Shadow's pelt. How? Why? She dug more and more, uncovering after uncovering, after uncovering, after uncovering, after uncovering. She backed away, staring at the scene. She felt terror. She gulped, shaking her head no, trying her best not to cry. The dream. Orca links, it couldn't. No.
You found the bodies, huh?
A voice came from behind her. She turned, horrified. She felt sick from the morning. but was too focused on what happened.
If you won't tell, I won't kill you. Like them.
The weird she giggled. Applesnap shivered, fearful. This wasn't Orcalinks. She caught her breath before shouting, "Right?" she questioned, stepping back.
Maybe. Maybe not.
She taunted with a loud laugh that sent chills down Applesnap's spine. She started panting, breathing heavily. She felt heavy, her mind spinning, her head pounding. She gasped for air desperately.
Now, stay quiet, and you'll live to see a round.
She quickly got away, hearing laughs from behind her. She ran out of the barn, trying her best not to shed a single tear. She struggled to open the barn down, panting, desperately clawing at the small opening before it gave in and slid back. She squeezed through, making her way to the fence. She jumped over, not caring if her legs were in the most horrible pain ever. She started to pant. Catching her breath, she felt so heavy. She crouched down, closing her eyes tightly. She didn't want to accept the truth, believe it. She covered her eyes with her paws, as everything seemed to be loud, muffled, and warped. Tears rolled down the side of her face as she shook, shaking her head more gently. She suddenly felt something large and softly against her. It didn't feel comforting this time. She snapped, backing away with a loud hiss. She felt tense. She didn't want to. Was that you? She mewed the question with a tremble. What do you mean, my darling? He tilted his head in confusion. She then stared at his paws. She twitched, her eyes widening. Tears fell more. Oh, my circlet! She almost screamed. She covered her maw with her paw, her voice audibly cracking. Orcalinks froze, not saying anything, just laying there, his eyes wide with surprise. He knew what she was talking about. You killed them! My clanmates! She hissed. Her heavy breathing seemed to be fogging her ears. You said they were. He sat up, lowering his head with his ears. I thought you were joking! I thought you would actually kill them! She screamed. Her lungs felt trapped, her heart tight. Her mind felt like it was spinning. I'm sorry, my darling. Please, forgive me. He tried to apologize before suddenly suggesting quickly, "You can live at the barn with me now," he purred in a way to comfort, but it didn't feel comforting her. Her panting got heavier. She trembled. She felt unsafe. Not from others. From him! She saw a border patrol up ahead. She looked back at him, responding. Loud whispers said murder was never the right answer. She backed away. Applesnap, he murmured, and suddenly added, That whisper took my eye. She paused, staring at him confused. You're taking advice from someone who died. Taking my eye? He questioned. She then felt whispering in her ear.
Come back in the barn. You can't trust him.
The familiar voice recalled.
They plan to kill you first, the voice taunted.
She backed away from the voice, a bit distraught. It was strange. The strange she from the moon. She could have killed me that day if it wasn't for Horsewap, he snapped, his tail lashing, making her more on edge. His ears lifted. She recognized after all these moons. Please, Apple, you were that Shadow Clan apprentice, she realized. The same one of that Shadow Clan warrior that gashed Loud Whisper's throat open before she even dropped to the ground. The same warrior she saw when she just came back with more prey from training. The same warrior that she killed! He froze when she mentioned Shadow Clan, remembering what happened after everything. She gulped. She noticed the Wind Clan patrol calling her name from a distance. Did the clan go looking for her? She sheathed her claws. She had to. Go back to the barn, she hissed the threat. You are on Wind Clan territory. She stepped forward. Apple, he tried to console, but she didn't give in this time. Go! She shouted. Before I make you! Her tail lashed. She stood on her legs, in pain. She didn't care, though. Apple, don't do this, he pleaded, his voice shaking. I don't want to hurt you, too. His eyes seemed dull, sad. His tone was sad, soft, though. She narrowed her eyes, swiping at the air, warning him. He sighed. StarClan's always right to you, isn't it? He questioned. To the point you kill your own mate for them, he pointed out. She turned away. You're not my mate anymore, she said distantly, before continuing. You're just a murderer who happens to be the father of my kids. She walked off, hoping Wind Clan would deal with him soon, as she made her way to the patrol. The screen suddenly went to black.
Applesnap! Applesnap!
The curious kids of the nursery called.
What will their names be?
She stared at the two little bundles of her by her belly and their slow breathing. She smiled, thinking. Rabbit Kit and Squirrel Kit, she announced, pressing her nose to Squirrel Kit's neck, proud of herself. The dark brown she-kit mewed softly, knowing her mother was just comforting her. Rabbit Kit and Squirrel Kit, she thought. Oh, how Loud Whisper and Blackfoot would have loved you.